Black American women are no competition, and that's how I got my man. That is what a lot of people think I said in one of my YouTube videos, which is going viral on all social media platforms at this moment. I mean, TikTok, X, YouTube, Instagram, whatever platform you're looking for, you would see my face with that caption on that video. And you cannot imagine. Storm from certain women is like a really bad case of diarrhea right now. But luckily, at the same time, there are a lot of people who agree with my overall message, which is always any average man deserves a fit, cooperative, feminine wife, especially in today's modern society.
Welcome to the channel. It's your host NGE, and we back with another video. So apparently there's a German ice queen on YouTube named Soraya Brooks that's going viral for saying the sisters of the community are no competition. And the black queens are upset. And according to general consensus, it seems that Becky, Maria, and Chun-Li are the undefeated, undisputed international champions of the world. Black women, all 2 and 5/8 of y'all watching, how come everyone has held the same opinion of you for the last 60 years and it still manages to catch you by surprise? Everyone can't be lying. In middle school, we learned about common denominators, and so far, the math is mathin'. But stick around, queens, because I might get myself canceled, revealing some truths that people won't risk their page saying. And feel free to share this video with any sister that wants to break the Jezebel code or tired of hiding behind a wall of lies. But before we jump the gun, let's hear what the German ice queen actually said, so nothing is taken out of context.
That no black women's not competition for us. A German white woman, very beautiful, gorgeous. Oh, she trashing black women? I don't want to say she's trashing them, but she's putting them in their place. I'm just joking. She ain't said nothing bad about the black woman, did she? Nah. Well, be the judge. Let's look at the video.
I already knew I had him because there was simply no competition out there for me. But let's just look at it objectively. You had this average black American guy who now was able to choose between what he was dealing with before and somebody completely new. And let me tell you, the moment I stepped into that man's life, he really didn't know how to deal with my femininity because I was not loud. I was not screaming. I was not trying to, be louder than him. I didn't interrupt him because that's not something that I learned from home. If somebody would speak, and especially a man, you would let that man speak and then you would listen and then say whatever you have to say, right? So I was clean. I cooked. He didn't know what it was when a woman is actually in the room asking him, like, do you want something to drink? Before I got myself something to drink. Do you want something to eat? Before I started to eat my food, I would ask him, do you want to have a bite? I would come out of nowhere and just have a fruit bowl and just offer him some fruit. He didn't know none of this. So my husband, back then boyfriend, really thought this was a dream come true. He didn't know how to deal with none of this because all this me coming through, just being nurturing by nature, his peoples and his family didn't even do that for him. Like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially black American family, has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set times. And these are things that I introduced my husband to with my family. Can you imagine that impact that I had on him back then? So gentlemen, do not be afraid of traveling. There are so many more women out there who are willing to take care of you. It doesn't matter if they're young, it doesn't matter if they're older. They are willing to take care of you, willing to work with you, willing to be a part of your life. You don't have to deal with whatever you are dealing with back in your hometown because unfortunately a lot of American women are lost in the delusional world that they are living in. And they don't even understand that they are going to be lonely for a long time, if not for the rest of their life. They say by choice, but I don't believe them.
So the first uncomfortable truth was the black family was better under Jim Crow than it is today.
He ain't lying.
Let's talk about the baby boomers and how all of this started, because you gotta know where you came from in order to know where you're going. Snow Queens fed that effiness agenda to black women and then sat back and watched them run with it. Effiness like Oprah would go on to be the richest woman in the world because the Oprah show was played in every black household with a television. This is when the phrase, "black men ain't shit," got introduced to the rest of the world. This was also the generation that was openly defiant to their husbands and led the agenda to make black men submissive. And they were successful. The nuclear black household saw a submissive egalitarian father take a back seat to the dominant force in that household, the mother. This is when the two-income households became normal and the gender roles began to blur. Now let's talk about fake Christianity and Gen X, their oldest child. Remember, I'm still talking about the nuclear black households, not the ones that sold out to the government, but we'll get there. In fake Christian households, the Gen X boys was raised to be submissive, empathetic, and supportive. Type B personalities that are loyal to the matriarch and defiant of free thinking. These boys was raised in the feminine and these girls was raised in the masculine. Those girls was raised to be leaders. That explains their type A personality traits and why they're the first generation of women to unapologetically avoid proper men. The American black family was built on the ideals of Christian principles, and these two generations was responsible for the corruption of the black church. See, in fake Christianity, God sees your heart, not your actions. It's how people can mold the religion to fit their ideals and lifestyle. The modern black church is the most perverted abomination in recent American history, and it's financially funded by black women. This is how black women can cheat morality and justify their Jezebel behavior. They can't compete because in an ironic twist of events, they've effectively brainwashed their younger brothers into not liking them. Millennial men are the only generation of men that's going to give them their karmic justice. And for the first time ever, the fake Christian black woman can't hide behind the hood rat and separate herself from this smoke. All of us with the potential to be your Russell Wilson.
Corny kid, right?
You traded out that future.
Boys, nigga!
Millennials was in the perfect position to see what kind of man you chose, how that played out, and the kids that resulted from that relationship. Gen X's daughters are the most narcissistic, sociopathic, hedonistic Jezebels to ever walk the planet. Plus, they're more masculine than most men, especially the men their age, so they can't or won't compete either. Economically, millennials are their best mate select, but due to the Jezebel code, they'll view that relationship as inappropriate. And to make things worse, they're obese because mama's too busy working like a man to be at home cooking a healthy meal for her kids. They're taught to maintain their hair instead of maintaining their body, and sweat is the enemy of a fresh hairstyle. So in conclusion, the second worst matriarch, the baby boomer, taught the worst matriarch, her daughters, defiance, and then raised them on how to be a man, not how to treat a man. Then those women who were raised as men went on to then choose the type of man that will allow them to remain a matriarch. Across social media, they developed the Black Jezebel Sister Code, which is secret warfare that they use against each other to keep spreading amongst themselves toxic advice. Think crabs in a barrel and birds of a feather on steroids. Black women can't compete and they don't want to compete. And even if they did, it would be like me versus LeBron James in basketball. They see death as a suitable alternative to submission to a proper man. And that's not a hyperbolic statement considering how stubborn they remain after 60 years. They'll come up with their own definition of a proper man and set the standard so high that most men can't meet it. If a man does meet it, they'll ignore him and pretend he don't exist. Or they themselves will not match the standards that they set for the man, causing him to ignore her. They also will ignore any high standards set by men and stubbornly contest them. that Becky in the video did less than the bare minimum, and it's made out to appear like it's some wild achievement. That's just how far black men have fallen in regard to how society respects us. Because don't get it twisted, black man, women in other communities view us as laughable, because not even men in the manosphere know what the bare minimum is. The bare minimum is virginity. Now let me hear you fake Christians argue with that. And there ain't no male virgins. Virginity is a female concept only, so miss me with that counter argument. And it's ironic how fake Christian black queens who only believe in monogamous marriage will name their sons after non-monogamous kings. There's too many men in the manosphere that's still playing behind a wall of lies with these women that don't have a dog in our fight. I guarantee you this Becky ain't offered no virginity to her black husband, but got a ring anyway. Why? Because black men raised behind fake Christianity are easily fooled by anything with white skin. Explain Pearl Davis.
He's out of line, but he's right.
But anyway, man, that's the video for today. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like the damn video. Be sure to click her to see why Bad Baby took her baby daddy back after making her eyes black in America. Be sure to follow me on my TikTok at NGEnevergoodenough, all one word. Or follow me on Instagram at NGE_nevergoodenough. Or if you want to do some business with me, then be sure to hit me up on my email at NGEnevergoodenough@gmail.com. And remember, become the change you want to see. It's your boy, NGE. Peace.